Welcome to CBRN Snapshot, your one-stop shop for practical CBRN skills and knowledge, delivered in quick, easy-to-understand videos.
This session will be focusing on the Joint Service Mask Leak Tester, otherwise known as the JSM-LT. As CBRN inventory managers and petty officers, ensuring adequate fit testing for assigned Navy personnel will be the primary concern. This is because the Navy's M50 mask testing is conducted by NAVSEA personnel and not done locally. So let's jump in and place the JSMLT in service. The travel case contains all components needed for both M50 mask testing and personnel fit testing. Consult the enclosed manual to identify the specific items required for fit testing. When you remove items from the storage case, be sure to inventory and inspect each piece. Leave all components designated for mask testing in the case to avoid confusion. Installations that are deemed high threat, NSA Bahrain and CFA Qinghai, or high turnover rates, NSA Suda Bay, Camp Lemonnier Djibouti, NSF Diego Garcia, NSF Devaselu, NSF Redzikovo, require annual fit testing, while installations deemed as standard threat are required to complete fit testing every 3 years. Ensure you're working with your base safety managers, as fit testing results are required to be uploaded into ESAMs. Please note that fit test and mask testing items are packed together and not separated in the case. So it's essential to have your owner's guide on hand during setup to ensure each component is identified and installed correctly. Once all parts and pieces are identified for fit testing, lay them out on your workspace. Open any bagged items and assemble them as needed before proceeding, following the instructions. When assembling the fit test hood, you'll use 2 fiberglass tent poles that form an X-shaped arch. It might take a bit of patience to insert them, but the insertion points are easy to spot once you look closely. Take your time with this step. Voila! The tent poles are in. They made it look easy. Eventually. Now onto the base and control units. All hoses, cords, and clamps have unique fittings, or they are color coordinated for easy identification. No connection should be forced, nor should any adapters be used or needed. When connecting electrical cords, ensure to turn the main power switch off and unplug the unit from all power sources. Again, check all pieces that interface and never force connections. When electrical connections are complete, finish up with the color-coded hose. Note the yellow to brass connection for easy identification. Prior to mounting the fluid reservoir, ensure the oil level is between the 2 markings indicated on the bottle. Let's finish setup by connecting the JSM-LT to the hood system and then the M50 protective mask. Again, use only approved connectors and hoses when setting up the mask and the hood portions of the testing station. Note the usage of the drinking tube and outer temple clip for these last 2 connections. Once this is complete, we will power up and let the JSMLT do a self-test and run its setup menus. Please ensure the shroud is over the head form and hose is placed under the shroud before powering the unit on. Although it is not necessary for the self-test, it will not pass the aerosol setup if the hose is not under the shroud. Following the initial self-test and setup, the system requires the user to input parameters such as altitude adjustments, service information, and testing requirements. These inputs ensure the JSMLT parameters are set up for fit testing only and account for specific environmental and operational factors. Refer to the manual for specific guidance and troubleshooting procedures. Let the LSMLT warm up for about 15 to 20 minutes prior to conducting the aerosol test. Allowing the machines to warm up for the recommended time frame and making sure the hose is under the shroud helps avoid aerosol failures. Once the self-test and setup is complete, you're ready to conduct fit testing. Each test subject should be measured and use the correlating sized M50 protective mask. This concludes the JSMLT fit test process. Protect yourself. Protect your team. Mission success starts with you.